The BMW 3 Series is a legendary nameplate. It's probably the name that you think of when you're thinking of a luxury sports sedan. However, the past few years have not been kind to the 3 Series. In 2013, it won our luxury sports sedan challenge, but when we did that challenge again in 2017, it slipped all the way to 6th place out of 7 competitors. Now, there are a few reasons for that drop. A big one being that there's new competition in this segment in the form of the Jaguar XC, the Alfa Romeo Giulia, and now the Genesis G70, our car of the year. But also the 3 Series, it was getting old and it was simply just not that fun to drive. However, this is the new 3 Series. It's what's called the G20 generation. And with this, BMW has a chance to fix some of the problems that plagued the previous 3. BMW did offer a 340i variant of the previous generation of the 3 Series, but the new 3 Series is the M340i, and it earns that M designation through a litany of suspension upgrades, but also a lot more power under the hood. So a turbocharged 3-liter 6-cylinder engine makes 382 horsepower and 369 pounds-feet of torque. That is up 62 horsepower and 39 pounds-feet of torque over the previous model, and that's a huge jump. It's enough to get that car to go from 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. Driving on the track this morning really gave that powertrain a chance to shine. The cars that we drove also came with all-wheel drive and had electronic rear differentials. It's a pretty aggressive setup, and the M340i, it puts down power coming out of a corner better than any 3 Series that I've driven before. It really is immediate, and the engine works very, very well with the 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, I know that some people will say, I wish that BMW was still going to offer a manual. BMW announced that, the 8-speed automatic is going to be the only transmission on the 3 Series going forward. To those who are saying that the lack of a manual might cause them to not consider the 3 Series, I would say to give the automatic a chance. It's a very good one. Not only does it shift quickly, but the programming is very, very good for aggressive driving. So on the track this morning, I didn't actually use manual shifting at all. I just kind of put the car into Sport Plus, its most aggressive drive mode, bumped the shifter over into S, and it did a very good job of not only holding gears, but also downshifting. So when you brake hard into a corner, the engine actually, you can hear it shifting down to not only give you engine braking, but also to put you in the right gear on exit. So it actually helped me put down power, and it gave me one less thing to worry about on the track, which was always nice. I was just able to focus on keeping this good, smooth line and accelerating coming out of the corners at the right place. The other thing that impressed me on the track about the M340i was its balance. The new car has nearly perfect 50-50 weight distribution, and BMW also engineered a new series of dampers on the vehicle as well. So it does a very, very good job of controlling the car's weight, whether you're braking, whether you're turning. It just remains pretty flat and planted the whole time, more so than the previous 3 Series. The M340i is very close to being a very good sports sedan, but the track time this morning did also expose one area in which I think that it falls a little bit short, and that is steering feedback. Now, that's different than the steering itself. The steering has plenty of weight, and it's accurate. It's easy enough to put the car where you want it on the track, but it doesn't give you enough feedback. And by that, what I mean is, when you're driving hard and you're driving at the limit, you want more feedback from the car. You want to know what the front tires are doing, you want to know how the weight is moving around, and you want to know where the limit of your grip is. And the M340i has this weird sensation where as you push it harder, there becomes a point where it becomes a little bit vague. And I'm not sure if that's entirely because of the steering. It could also be because of all the suspension stuff going on underneath you, but there's a moment where it's hard to detect how much grip you have left, and you're not really getting much feedback from the wheel. I can't really tell what the front wheels are doing, and so you have to kind of dial it back. And that vagueness just isn't there in a few of the competitors for the M340i. Most notably, the G70 and the Giulia have excellent steering that I like more. So the M340i ultimately comes very close on the track to being the equal of those cars, but it falls short in that one area. After driving the M340i on the track this morning, I got to drive the 330i on the street in the afternoon, and that is the second of the 2 variants that BMW has so far announced of the new 3 Series. Now the 330i, a little bit less power, but no slouch in its own right. It has a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that makes 255 horsepower, but 295 pounds-feet of torque, and that's a really impressive torque number coming out of this engine. It's also a big gain over last year's model. It's a gain of 37 pounds-feet of torque, and the strength of the powertrain is readily apparent. Much like the M340i from this morning, the engine and transmission work very well in concert. It also has an 8-speed automatic, and it's telepathic in kind of the same way that the M340i was this morning. It's generally in the right gear, it shifts quickly, and it also downshifts quickly when you're trying to pass people or for quick merges. I did find that I enjoyed the steering more in the 330i than I did in the M340i, and that might be due to a difference in environment. The M340i, we were testing it on a track, and on a track, you're pushing a car to kind of the edge. You're trying to kind of see where the car falls short in a way. But on a public road, on a mountain road, like some of the ones that they have here around Palm Springs, the 330i proved to be really capable. And there's a strong initial bite to the steering on turn-in that I didn't quite get with the M340i that I got in this vehicle. The 330i that I'm driving right now is rear-wheel drive, so that might be a part of that. But I really enjoyed the strength of the initial turn-in, and since I wasn't really pushing the car to the edge of where it can go, the lack of feedback didn't bother me as much. I still think that there are competitors in the segment that do handling better than the 3 Series. The Giulia comes to mind, and again the G70, but this 3 Series is much improved over the last one, and it does go a long way towards making it more fun to drive. Also worth highlighting on the new 3 Series are improvements to the interior, especially in the area of technology. So in front of me, 2 large screens, one here in the instrument panel, and a very high resolution bright screen up here for the multimedia system. This is all powered by BMW's iDrive system, and when iDrive debuted, to be frank, it wasn't very good, but BMW has released new versions of the system, updated the menus, made better screens, to be honest, and then now the system is, I think, one of the easier ones to use in this segment. The screen is actually easy to reach as well from the driver's seat, so you have the option of using it as a touchscreen or using the multimedia controller down here. There is one catch to the system, and that is it doesn't have Android Auto. But since the system is so good, as an Android user, the omission of Android Auto doesn't bother me as much as it normally would. There's also a new HUD, and the HUD is unique in that you can move a lot of the information that would normally kind of go in the instrument panel here up into the HUD. So for example, if you use this scroll wheel on the steering wheel, you can actually scroll through the different radio stations on the satellite radio up in the HUD. So it just keeps things higher up in your field of vision, and you spend less time looking down, which means less distracted driving. Initial returns for the new 3 Series are very positive. The improvements in drivability thanks to very good powertrains and suspension updates, as well as improvements in technology and a leap forward in cabin quality, will serve the new 3 Series very well, I think, going forward. Now, I can't say where exactly I think it would finish if we were to redo a luxury sedan challenge this year, but I can say that I'm pretty sure that it would do much better than 6th. I'm excited to spend more time in the 3 Series to do a deeper dive on those technology updates, as well as check out a few of the new safety features, including a low-speed autonomous feature that BMW added to the new 3 Series. The 330i starts at just over $41,000, including destination charges, and it goes on sale in March, while the M340i starts at just under $55,000, and it hits dealerships this summer.